Games like Sable are so difficult to rate and practically impossible to simply recommend. You really can't play through it, slap a number on it, and call it a day. It's not that simple. Not with a game like this. How the hell do you even tell someone to go play it that it's great when so much of what makes it great comes from its intangible qualities? By the standards of your average video game, there isn't much there beyond controlling a character on screen. Graphically, it's functional enough, albeit with frequent frame rate drops and weird little bugs here and there. Controls are a bit finicky. The climbing mechanic would cause me to latch onto walls regularly for no reason whatsoever. Gameplay, if you could even call it that, is as bare bones as it gets. There's no combat, no conflict, no escalation leading to some epic final encounter. You can't die. You don't even have a health bar. Missions are mostly fetch quests or the occasional simple puzzle. The primary gameplay loop is just to explore the land and its various locales, talk to NPCs, and acquire masks, which don't serve any gameplay purpose, but are rather a representation of the role in society you could assume within the narrative at the end of the game. You could even quit whenever you want after finding the first one, so there's no obligation to keep playing after the first hour or so. You can make money or buy outfits and spare parts for your hover bike, and there's a fishing minigame. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what you do in Sable. Despite this, its little technical issues and complete lack of any sort of traditional gameplay elements, I was completely enthralled from beginning to end in a way that I struggle to understand, much less try to articulate. The closest comparison I can make is how J.R.R. Tolkien somehow managed to make hobbits walking in The Lord of the Rings compelling. You're not actually playing Sable the game. It's more like you're taking part in the novel of Sable's journey on her rite of passage into adulthood. Because of its unique art style, wonderful soundtrack, and excellent writing, Sable ends up being a memorable and engaging experience. The game creates this rare sense of ludonarrative resonance that so many games struggle with. There's no combat or danger because there isn't supposed to be any. The developers didn't just add enemies because that's what you're supposed to do in video games. They would have felt out of place. This isn't some harrowing quest to save the world. It's a journey of self-discovery. Just as Sable is tasked with going out into the world and finding her place within it, you, as the player, are asked to do the same. You get on your bike and go, seeing what you find and whom you meet. You're not given any direction on where to go or what to do. You just go, and the rest takes care of itself. That is where the real appeal of this game lies. Wandering around, stumbling upon the wreckage of an ancient spacecraft that starts you off on a quest to learn about the origins of the people that inhabit this desolate desert wasteland. Finding a hidden cave that is actually the digestive system of a living being which someone had turned into their home. Reading their journal entries as they slowly went mad in there. Descending into a well only to find an injured climber that needs your help, solving the mystery of who may have stolen the power source of a city, then realizing there is no clear answer based on the clues you have, yet you still have to accuse somebody. The game is full of these little moments that keep you motivated to continue exploring. What you actually do may be simplistic from a gameplay perspective: rudimentary platforming and climbing, hitting a switch, or carrying a battery to open a door, but they all serve the purpose of telling Sable's story and immersing you in her world. Even something as mundane as talking to NPCs is approached in an interesting way. It isn't only the words being exchanged, rather, every conversation also adds Sable's internal monologue, letting you in on how she feels about these interactions. It's all so well written. There's almost a poetic flow to every line of text that, while there is no voice acting in the game, I feel like if there was, it would have lessened the impact of the words. This adds a purpose and meaning to the primary loop of going around and collecting masks, which only exist as a narrative device and as cosmetic items. Your motivation to play isn't derived from anything concrete. You won't find any bosses, you don't level up, you're not rewarded with new weapons or better gear, although you do find pieces of various outfits scattered around. Instead, your motivation for traversing these beautiful hand-drawn environments is a better understanding of the world itself and its inhabitants. Its strong world building, narrative, and environmental storytelling sucked me into Sable's tale to the point where I actually felt a bit sad when there was nothing left to do. No more masks to find or places to discover, and it was time to decide what masks Sable will choose to wear. Even with its graphical hiccups and non-existent gameplay, it was a joy just being there. This is what makes it so hard to rate. If I take greater consideration to its performance as a video game, my score would be much lower, right in line with the mid-70s that is the critic average. But if I view it as a piece of art, a novel come to life where you guide the protagonist through her story, it would easily be a 9 out of 10 for me. This is really a tough one. It isn't my usual fare where I play it and I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is better than the critics say. You should give it a try. Not with Sable. This is a highly subjective experience. Harder to recommend than a more focused, narrative-driven adventure. If you're into, action-oriented games, I could see something like this boring you out of your mind. Then again, maybe not. I have no clue. Regardless, I suggest you give it a shot. It's one of the free monthly PS Plus games right now. Add it to the library. You've got nothing to lose. If you play on the PC or the Xbox, on the other hand, maybe pick it up on sale. If you don't like it, oh well, at least you didn't spend all that much on it. But the game may surprise you, just as it did me, and you'll be glad that you did. You're welcome, I guess.